Hey everyone, it's Mike here from The Art of Guitar. I've been in a lot of bands in my life, including original bands to start with, and then I played in some cover bands and then some tribute bands. And whenever I played in cover bands or tribute bands, I always tried to stay true to the original artist's versions of the solos or the riffs or the songs in general. And I was thinking of how many hours of my life I spent trying to get a lot of these details down to be exactly true to the artist, because I thought that was really important. And I still think it is when it comes to tribute bands, for example. But, after listening to a lot of guitar players over the years, and specifically Megadeth recently, because I've been trying to learn a lot of solos from Megadeth. And so when I go back and learn a Marty Friedman solo, I really try to nail it. I try to get all the different inflections down, all the Friedmanisms, if you will. But then if you watch like KIKO playing some of the solos these days, you'll notice that he takes a lot of liberties and he actually transforms Marty's solos into his own style in a really cool way. And it kind of made me wonder, why can't the rest of us do that? A lot of people are like, well, that's KIKO. He's way up here. He can do whatever he wants. I totally understand that, but he's in Megadeth. And you would think anyone who joins Megadeth would have to try to match the solos note for note. But if he's actually in the band and he's not doing that, why can't the rest of us guitar players put our own little spin on these solos? So I have 4 quick examples in Tornado of Souls. The first one is the sweep arpeggio part. So let's take a listen to what Marty does real quick. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the original artist and then I'm going to break it down for you so you could see the differences. So Marty's doing a sweep arpeggio pattern similar to this. It's pretty tricky actually. There's a string skip in there and I'm 90% sure that's what he's doing on the actual recording. But KIKO goes like this. He does it a little bit more uniform. See how it is the same pattern twice like that? And it's funny because it sounds great at full speed with the band, but when you slow it down, the differences become a lot more apparent. So that's really all he's doing. He's doing the one form and just moving it up a step and a half. Now the next part's probably the most obvious difference, and that's going to be that insane pull-off economy picking part that Marty does. And I always love this part because it reminded me a bit of Kirk Hammett, who was another huge influence on me. And so I thought, okay, I could probably do some kind of circular pattern to match what he's doing. So let's check out what Marty's doing here. So to break that down, we're doing these in 16th note patterns. So we go like this. A little faster. Now it's pretty hard to fit all of those notes in such a small space, but with that economy picking, it helps quite a bit. Here's what KIKO's doing. So he's taking a different approach. He actually starts to do 8th note triplets. And I thought this was really clever. It's kind of hard to lock onto the beat, at least for me at first doing this, but because it's one less note in there, it's a lot easier to fit it in. Versus what Marty's doing. So the next part's probably the craziest part. Let's check out Marty's version. So this is a point of contention for a lot of lead guitar players. I've played it 5 different ways now, but to break it down, I'll just play it like this so you can see it. That's such a wild flurry of notes, but KIKO decided to go like this. Now this one was really hard to figure out, even though I slowed it down to like 25% speed at one point, but it's some sort of whole tone type ascending pattern. And it's a lot of fun actually, but here are the notes. So that's quite a bit different, but you could tell with that ascending whole tone pattern that he's really comfortable with it, sort of like any pet pattern that you might have that you could just kind of do automatically and it feels really comfortable. That seems to be one that he likes to use. So by throwing that over the top of the chaos that Marty does, it works out because it ends in the right place. When Marty descends, he ends up in that exact same spot. Okay, now for that chromatic sounding ascending part at the end that confuses so many people, including me. But let's check out Marty's version. So this took a lot of watching videos closely, and there's one particular live video where it shows Marty doing it. And don't get me wrong, he changes things up too live, especially the previous part we just did. But this part, I think I finally nailed it as far as the right notes. Ooh, I like that harmonic at the end. It's a fun pattern to do, but in the real version, it's so fast that it's hard to really get all those notes in correctly. So what does KIKO do there? He does something that actually feels a lot more comfortable to me. He does these triple pull-offs, and then he ascends one fret at a time. I like how he does that at the end. He nails it a couple times like that, then goes right into the next rhythm part. So hats off to all the guitarists in Megadeth. I know today I'm just focusing on Marty and KIKO, but I just wanted to show you a really good example of how someone like KIKO, who joins a band like Megadeth, he doesn't even stay true to every single note of a solo that was performed by somebody else. So I truly believe that this should give us all a little breathing room to not feel like we have to be clones of all these other guitar players. Like I said, I'm guilty as anyone of doing that, but I think if you just slowly try to inject your own style into some of these solos, first of all, they're going to be a lot more playable because you're going to play, like I said, the pet licks that you're used to, the patterns that you like. And second of all, a part of you is going to now live in these solos. So it's not going to be just a copy of somebody else's playing. It's going to be a structure that you fill in with your own perspective, your own experience, your own techniques, your own feel. And I think that's what really makes these solos special, is that they can evolve over time depending on who plays them. So I really hope this video inspires you to put a little bit of your own spin on some of these classic solos, and I'd be really interested to see what you all come up with. All right, everyone, I hope this video was fun to watch and informative, and I guess we'll catch you at the next one, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.